taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hey.
I love that so much.
I love it too.
I do too. It's weird because I feel like in that my hair is just like this tight little bun, and the whole time I'm like rocking back and forth, and I'm like a bobble doll or something.
It does kind of seem like we're moving to the music. Like,
Yeah,
I know. But it makes me happy every time. It makes me want to dance. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, look at all of us laughing. How much fun we're having.
I agree.
Well, everyone, welcome to the Isn't It Romantic Book Club. I'm Abbie Roads. Tonight, we have something very special for you. We are discussing our very own Jennie Marts, Never Enough Cowboy. Is this not a gorgeous cover?
Gorgeous cover. I think it's one of my favorite covers.
I think I like the last one really well too, but I am partial to blue. So this one is really gorgeous. Welcome to everybody who is joining us live and to all the people who will watch on replay. We're beaming live into our Isn't It Romantic Book Club, right? We're beaming into My Dangerously Dark Darlings. We're in Midnight in the Garden. We're on YouTube, and we're in Team Sourcebook. So welcome everybody from all over who's watching. And this should be at some point turned into a podcast. So you should be able to go back and listen to it there too. So I'm Abbie Roads, and I remembered to bring Jennie's book, but forgot to bring my own book. So.
it's okay.
Good. Yeah,
they're on the wall
book
behind
is
you.
Capturing Fate.
Yeah.
Available now. I tell people that my books are dark romantic thrillers. I tell them think a combination of Criminal Minds meets a love story with a paranormal twist, and that's my books. Who's up next?
And that would be me. Hi, everyone. My name is Diana Muñoz Stewart. I write romantic suspense for the strong of heart. Oh, mine is not a scroller. This is my latest book, Broken Promises. It's about a girl who tries to capture the serial killer that is after her. So she lures him with the help of an ex out to a cabin in the woods, and it's scary. So romantic suspense, if anybody's into that, check it out. And I'm really excited to be able to chat with Jennie today. So Sharon?
My name's Sharon Wray. I also write romantic suspense like Diana. I think like Dan Brown meets super sexy Green Berets and really smart heroines. And just for fun, see Mr. October? Isn't he beautiful? It's a little
I love that so much.
Coming out in October, which is totally different. It's a little contemporary, but it's been really fun. Anyway, but tonight we're here to talk all about Jennie. As you saw her book, beautiful, Never Enough Cowboy. So even though we all know Jennie, I'm still going to read her bio. Jennie Marts is the USA Today best-selling author of award-winning books filled with love, laughter, and always a happily ever after. Readers call her books laugh out loud funny and the perfect mix of romance, humor, and steam. Fix Central claimed one of her books was the most fun I've had reading in years. She's living her own happily ever after in the mountains of Colorado with her husband, 2 dogs, and a parakeet that loves to tweet to the oldies. He's addicted to Diet Coke, which I can totally attest to. Adores Cheetos and believes you can't have too many books, shoes, or friends. Her books include the contemporary Western romance Hearts of Montana series, the romantic comedy Cozy Mysteries of the Page Turner series, the hunky hockey-playing men in the Bannister Family and the Bannister Brothers series, and the small-town romantic comedies in the Love Struck series of Cotton Creek romances, and then her Creedence Horse Rescue novel series. And so for some reason, Jennie, your bio doesn't include the first.
Yeah, I need to update that.
She also writes for Hallmark, so that's not on the bio. But she has another series before the Creedence Cowboy series with her hockey playing, very cute hockey playing cowboys, and she writes beautiful Hallmark romances.
Yeah, I probably need to update that.
I didn't even notice, and I heard that.
I should have read it first before I read it out loud.
Well, I think I do have a more updated one than that, I think. But anyway, hi everybody. Thanks so much for having me, for reading my book.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
I loved it. I was telling you one earlier, Jenny, I think it's my favorite book in the Creedence series. And for some reason in this book, the town of Creedence came alive even more. Like I really had a good, not that I didn't before, but I felt like it was filled out. Maybe because I know all the characters now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can float between the library and the town hall, the sheriff's office and the veterinary office and the horse rescue and the diner. And even though we've met these places before, I think because I knew all the characters, I felt like I was coming home.
Aww.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. And the opening scene, I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh, I was totally going to spoil it.
Okay, I'll let Abbie spoil it because the whole world has to read that opening scene. It's one of the best opening scenes of a contemporary romance I've ever read.
I was totally going to spoil this because I'm sitting here and I started reading it. I was listening to the audiobook of it and I thought, oh my God, is Jenny writing a romantic suspense? Is this going to have suspense in it? And I'm like, oh my God, somebody's after Jillian. This is so brilliant. I can't wait to keep reading. And then when it turned out it was Otis, I totally wasn't even disappointed. I was just so enthralled and loved it so much. That whole thing was just brilliant, Jenny. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Did that ever happen to you?
Have I ever been trapped in my underwear in the top of a barn by a goat?
Yes.
No.
That's a great Colorado thing to happen.
Like, you know, when I posted in this group, I posted this in the group. I posted, did anyone ever have a fashion emergency?
Oh yeah. I have had fashion emergencies before. I do remember one time being in, so I graduated high school up in Summit County. If anybody is a skier and has ever been up to Dillon, Silverthorne, Keystone, Breckenridge, all that. Not that that has anything to do with the story, but that's where I lived at the time. And we were in this little mall and it had this big long set of stairs. And across the way from the mall, there was a couple of cute guys. I was a senior in high school. Couple of cute guys across the way, and I'm looking at them smiling away, blah blah blah, and I start down the stairs. I'm about halfway down the stairs flirting with these guys, tripped. And now you gals are old enough to remember, do you remember prairie skirts?
Oh yes.
Remember when we used to wear prairie skirts, these kind of long skirts, you know? So I was wearing a prairie skirt and cowboy boots, and I just went down those stairs, boom 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 boom, landed with my legs in the air. My stepdad's at the bottom, like trying to catch me.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Laughing. My mother's laughing. My sisters are laughing their heads off. So here I am flirting with these guys, and then they saw all of my prairie skirt.
And did you have Wonderful Woman underwear on?
I was wearing underwear. That's all I was glad about.
I thought the running joke of her underwear, the off-brand superhero underwear, was adorable.
That was hilarious.
That's very funny.
That's so you.
So I had so much fun with that. And part of the reason, another friend and I came up with that together. And part of the reason why we did that is because there's a lot of trademark copyright stuff of using the Marvel characters. And so I had this whole idea that I wanted her to be wearing superhero underwear all the time. And every time, you know, how many books do you read where I've written plenty of books where they're peeling away their layers and they've got this sexy blah, blah, blah. But not often are they wearing like bright green, Incredible Hulk, like underwear.
Or was it Arachnid Man? Didn't you have Arachnid Man underwear?
So I knew because I had to be really careful with that copyright. And so I was like, well, why don't I just say, you know, how many times do you order something that you think it's going to be designer and then it's really not and it's a knockoff? And so I had so much fun with Wonderful Woman underwear, and
it was great. It was
good.
So funny.
Thank you. I actually, maybe this is weird to say, but I feel like that first scene or that first chapter of the book is like my best chapter I've ever written of a first book before. I don't know what it is about this book, but it is really one of my favorites.
Was it easier to write than the other books, or are they all really hard?
So many parts of this one just came together so I'm not going to say easy because it was late.
Organically?
So I can't say easy because I turned it in 2 weeks late, but easier. Like it just sort of meshed and worked, and it was really fun.
Well, you
Sounds
could
like
tell.
you were in the flow.
It was laugh out loud funny in some parts.
It was.
Mhm.
Thank you. I hope so.
And it was tear jerky in others.
Yeah.
Because I was walking at the cemetery today, listening to the book, finishing it up, and I was at the part where he put the letter in the paper, and I was like literally tears. And then I'm walking by people going, "Good morning," and then like thinking, "Oh, wait a minute, they probably see that I'm like little teary and probably have no idea. Like I'm not walking and crying. It's happy tears. It's the book I'm listening to, you know." So I mean, that was just
haven't heard
touching.
it. I haven't heard it on audio. How does the narrator do?
Great. She does really, really good.
Oh, nice.
I really enjoyed it. I think that's the first book of yours I've ever listened to instead of read, but it was very good.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You
I
listened to it on audio, Diana?
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of driving the last couple of days, so I was like, oh, I should, get this on audio. So that's what I did.
Did my voice still come through as far as, I mean, you always wonder about that with audio. So
yeah, it was.
I think she did a great job.
I think she
really
did
good
too.
timing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I would agree completely.
Do you ever listen to your books on audio, Jenny?
Sometimes I do. And, the page turners are my indie books. And so I auditioned the Stacy Glomboski for that. I actually met her at a conference. And so I listened to I listened and proofread every single one of the page turners, and she just does outstanding. And I listened to bits and pieces of them, when they come in. And I know one time I was at the bank, actually, I think it was for Cowboy State of Mind. When I was working at the bank, and they sent me the audition tapes. So I'm down on my lunch break, like listening to 5 hot cowboys reading from my book and trying to pick which cowboy is Zane. And I actually got to pick Connor Craze, and he just did outstanding for Cowboy State of Mind. So,
Jenny, did you have a favorite scene in this book?
So many. I had so much fun with this book. The first scene I just think is so. I had so much fun with it. I love how Bryn and Zane drive up, and they're like, "Oh, do you need us to leave you alone for a few minutes?" And they're like, "No." She's like, "No, nothing happened." And then he walks out holding her skirt. I found your skirt.
For some reason, I love that scene. But you write kids so well. Obviously, you have children. I loved the scene when Jillian went into the bedroom and she heard snuffling. When she went into her son's bedroom.
Oh, that was funny.
She found the mini horse in the closet. That's something my kids would have done. Like totally would have done. But what I loved about it was my teary scene was when they were building the enclosure to put the horse so he could stick his head through Milo's window.
I know. I want an Applejack.
That was such you talk about you wanting to make your heroes heroic, right? But without making the heroines seem weak. That was just such a beautiful, heroic thing to do, I thought, to build this for Milo so that he and the horse didn't have to be separated, but the horse didn't have to live in the house.
And the horse isn't in his bed or stuff.
I know. And the fact that a child would think that's okay, I loved that part because my kids would have done the same thing.
Aw.
So I thought I loved that scene. I love that.
Yeah, and Jenny, you write kids that makes me think, oh, maybe kids wouldn't be so terrible to have. Of course, I'm too old and will still not be having any. But
so Abbie has no kids. Diana has seven, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have 2, and Sharon has 2.
Yeah.
So we're kind of right in the middle. But we don't have little kids anymore. But I do have nieces and nephews that are little still. So
I do too. I have great nieces and great nephews that are.
And sometimes I call them and say, there was a point in When a Cowboy Loves a Woman, when she gets into his truck and it's full of junk, like kid stuff. And I called my nieces who were like 7 and 9 at the time. And I was like, go out to the minivan right now and tell me everything that's on the floor of your car. Like, what is in your car right now? And they just think it's so fun. So they went out and they were like, I found a ring pop that's half eaten. And I found half a bag of Funyuns, and I found a hoodie, and I found so I actually just like wrote down everything they found and kind of just put that in the book. So I use them a lot.
So that's your book research. Do you call sheriffs? Do you call rescue ranches? Do you do like little interviews like that, or?
So I am fortunate in a lot of ways. So one thing that really, really helps me is my dad is a farmer and a veterinarian, and my sister and my brother-in-law are veterinarians. And so I can usually call up my sister and say, hey, I've got this tortoise, what does this tortoise eat? I called, my dad and said, how long can this puppy stay alive, left out, in the barn, the questions like that, or, I was going to say a scene about a calf, but that's in the next book that's coming up. But I also live next door to a police officer.
Oh, neat.
And so a lot of times I'll go like knock on the door and be like, hey, so imagine if my character's baby daddy is in jail, and how would this happen? And so there are things where he'll tell me, oh, you can't do that, Jenny. No way. You have to, and I'll change things around because he will say, oh, well, they'll get arrested for that. And you can't, So, I think he might have helped with the stamp too, knowing that I had to have a Department of Corrections stamp. And
oh yeah, that was neat.
So yeah, I do have some. And if I don't know, I'll find somebody. I don't remember if it was this book or the one before that had some kind of fire stuff. And one of my friends is married to a fireman, so I'll call her up and be like, "Hey, can Luke give me a call? Because I have some fireman questions." Or
was that Caught Up in a Cowboy? No,
that
no. I'm sorry. How to Cowboy? Wasn't that in How to Cowboy?
Which one?
The fire.
Maybe.
I like them all, and I can't remember. I'm sorry.
No, the fire was in When a Cowboy Loves a Woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my friend's husband totally helped me with that kitchen fire, because I was like, okay, I need her, like, just her kitchen to be on fire, but without her life being too much in peril, because she's in the bathtub listening to Pink and not with Pink on the headphones. And then I need a guy who's really not a fireman, but sort of like a volunteer fireman to just come in and rescue her. And a lot of times people think it's really fun to help, and they'll give you ideas. And so
you did such a great job of portraying a juggling mom. How do you juggle work and family?
You mean, how do I not juggle work and family?
I know that's probably a loaded question. Sorry.
So I, my kids are grown now. My son is back home just for a little bit while he's saving for a house. But when I used to juggle, hockey practice and soccer practice and 2 kids playing sports at the same time in school, I still love the paper calendar. I know my family gives me like the hardest time about why don't you go on Outlook and we could share all of our calendars. Well, the calendar shared, it's right on the wall. It is shared. It's right there in the kitchen. So I live by the calendar, and I live by lists now because I'm older and I forget everything. When I do remember stuff, when I remember everything that I need to do is about 3:00 in the morning when I've woken up from a hot flash and can't get back to sleep. That's when I remember all the things that I didn't do that day that I should do the next day that I'm behind in. So I don't know how I juggle it all. I feel
Well,
like
you've made it work for 25 books.
Yeah.
So,
31.
huh?
31.
Oh,
Wow.
Jenny, I
31.
cannot keep up.
I can't either.
Wow. So do you feel like, I've made it 31 books? Yeah.
No.
No?
Well, some days. So I think that's a cruddy thing to say. I'm very, very grateful for the career that I have. And some days I have to, like, some days you're just down in the grind of just, this is so hard. This is such hard work. I just want to read a book today. I just want to watch Netflix all day long, but I have this book due. And so I have to write and I have to write and I have to write. And so some days you're in the grind of it and you just don't remember. And then other days I walk into Walmart and I see my book on the shelf and I'm just overwhelmed with how blessed I am and how grateful I am and how this is amazing. I got out of the blue today. I opened up my email and I had a letter from a fan, I guess, a reader, and who had messaged me to say that they fell in love with my books and are, going through the list. And so days like that, I just have to remind myself, yes, this is amazing. But do we ever feel like I've made it? I don't know. But I'm very grateful for everyone that reads my books and for everyone that messages me. I read every single one. I reply to everyone that I can. But there are days when you're just in the grind and you forget,
Yeah.
You guys know.
Yep.
You know exactly what I mean.
Yep.
So does the deadline keep you writing or do you keep you writing?
Oh, the deadline. I'm the worst procrastinator in the world. I am a terrible procrastinator. I have to have a deadline.
So that's part of your process, your writing process.
Yes. I just, even today, I was like, well, I have a little more. I should have started my new book last week. And I'm like, well, I have a little more time. And then I look at the calendar and go, oh, I don't have more. You get to work, girl.
Have you watched The Sandman, Jenny, on Netflix?
No, it looks super scary.
There's a storyline towards the end about a writer whose book is like months overdue, but he had 2 years to write it. His agent's like, it's 2 months late, and he goes, how far are you? He goes, I'll send you chapters. And he goes, how much have you written? And he's like, written nothing.
I always find that so funny too, because have you guys ever sent just chapters into your editor? Like on TV, they're always like, well, send me the chapters that you have written. I've never had an editor said, send me the chapters you have written. They're just like, send me the book.
No, only my agent. Like, because I'm writing in a new genre and I wrote different chapters in different ways. But other than that, no, but never an editor.
Like if your book is due, do you have them say, like, send me your chapters? Yeah, you've had that happen, Abbie?
I had an editor who almost bought my book, and I wasn't even done with it. I was like halfway done, and Michelle sent him my agent sent him first chapter, and then she emailed Michelle back and said, "Does she have more?" So Michelle sent him the second chapter, and it's like, "Does she have more?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I sent her like half the book, and this editor was like, "Well, just send me it as she gets it done." So I was literally sending it to her as she got it done, and she was going to buy it. But then she got promoted, and the person who took her spot didn't want it. I was, yes.
Abbie, which book was this?
It was the first,
Race to Darkness?
Yeah, Race to Darkness, yeah. And it was going to go to Montlake. It was a Montlake.
Wow.
Yeah. And she said, I put a good word in for you with this new editor. I really did. And then still that editor she didn't like my dark stuff. So I was like, darn it.
Jenny, so I don't want to give too much away for this book, but the next book in the series is going to be Jillian's sister and
Knox.
The deputy?
Knox, yes.
Okay.
It
is that book written?
Oh, yeah. And actually, I haven't done a cover reveal yet, but I do have the cover here. And holy. Is it?
We get to see it first.
You love it?
Oh, I love it so much. I was trying to pull it up when I was. Okay, now get out of here. Just
Is this the final cover, or do you think they'll change?
Yeah.
Changes?
So this is the cover.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Jenny,
I love those colors.
I love it.
Yeah.
Actually, I think
I
that's my
know.
favorite cover now.
And
I
look
love
at
it.
there's like just a little man chest.
Uh-huh.
What I love about it is it feels so Colorado. It feels like that's the rescue. I don't know where I'm.
I love the title.
It feels like there's actually the ranches back there. You can see the barn. You can see the mountains.
Yep.
Like, it just feels like it's really. I'm super, super happy with this.
Oh,
so yes, this book is written. It comes out. Carly's book is written. It comes out in March. And so yeah, Carly and Knox, and I had
that.
so much fun with that book. And I'm just gonna say, here's my one fun thing is 8 pygmy goats.
I love what you do with the animals. That's so much fun.
Is that the last book in the series, or is there one more after that?
There's one more after that. That's the one that I'm working on right now, and that's a Christmas book.
Oh, another Christmas book.
Neat.
I love your other Christmas one. Wish Upon a Cowboy.
Yeah. So, and I'm trying to, because it's, kind of the end, I'm trying to really bring all of the pieces and all of the characters kind of together. And in the next book, Every Bit a Cowboy, some of the hockey playing cowboy wives show back up again. And so I just have fun with that. In my head, all those people are just like real, and that's where they live. And so I imagine them all there. So
I wish it was real. I wish Creedence was real place. Every time I read this book, I'm like,
how did you come up with a name for that series, the Creedence Horse Rescue series?
I just totally made it up. There is a town in Colorado up in the mountains where I used to go fishing with my grandpa, and it's called Creed. And so I don't like using a real town, because then if you get it wrong, readers like to tell you if you get the real town wrong. So I like to just make up a new town, and so I sort of just used the town of Creed and made it Creedence. And I don't know, my weird brain.
You do have a weird brain. I have to say that you always delight me when I'm reading your books, and you just come out of left field. I'm like, what? Why is the goat is trying to climb up the ladder? What's happening?
I would wonder sometimes, does she meet the people? Like, do you meet the people in the scene?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, and I originally didn't have the goat climbing up the ladder. That was an edit. My editor came through and was like, goats can climb. And I was like, oh, shoot. They can. So then I had to put that little part in there about the librarian whose head is full of a million pieces of trivia.
I love that. That was really cool.
Like, oh my gosh, I think goats can climb.
Her t-shirts were really neat too. All her little bookish t-shirts were, it's like, man, can I go buy that somewhere? Like,
I know some of those you can buy. I just look up like librarian t-shirts on Amazon or on Google or something, and some of them I kind of twist them and make them up. But I just think it's so fun to have my heroines in a lot of books wear funny t-shirts that say funny things on them.
Yeah, it totally adds to the character and to the humor of the book.
And I'll be honest, I'm always very skeptical of librarian characters. How are they going to portray a librarian being a librarian?
Yeah.
I've taken a lot of grief over the years, a lot of library jokes. But I thought you did a great job, especially in this small town.
Oh, good.
And you can get away with a lot more in a small town library because they don't have any money. So they can do it. And they're not beholden to anybody because they don't have a town council that oversees the management of the money. So.
Well, and don't you guys find you have to come up with these jobs for your people that they can't be at 60 hours a week. Otherwise, when are they going to have time for all this fun romance? Like, you have to come up with jobs that they can like be away from, that they can work part-time at.
Yeah, or even like with the kids in school, you like, making it during the summer or making it during the school year. So the kids, what are you going to do with all the
Oh,
kids?
yeah.
running around?
Yeah, I had to figure out something to do with Milo all the time. Like, well,
Yeah.
he's there some, but they also have to, that's the challenge with kids. And that's why I have a hard time with babies, because
Yes.
I don't write a lot of little, I write a lot of kids that can go for sleepovers, and I like 10-year-olds, and I like 10 to 12 really super smart kids. Like,
Well, because they still love you, right? They still love you, so they're not snarky.
Yeah. But they can also be by themselves for an hour, or they can go to sleepovers, or go to the swimming pool, or have a lesson or something.
So you could throw them in the basement, like with other kids. Well, I was really
Sharon, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, your children have never been in the basement with other kids while the adults are upstairs drinking. Okay.
Sharon writes romantic suspense, everybody. So.
She just throws kids in a basement.
Well, I really wanted to see, which I hopefully we'll see in the last book, is the reading nook. Was it the book with the remember the house with the beautiful reading?
Yeah.
That I want that again.
I want that in my house.
I want it in the house too, but that would be a nice add-on to the final book if you're still writing it.
It's Sharon's talking about, it was How to Cowboy. They go in this house, and there's this beautiful little cupola, which I don't know if you say cupola or cupola.
Cupola.
Yeah. That's made into this beautiful little reading nook library. So, and that's all of my imagination. The perfect little, I would just love to have that. So
I know, right?
Well, and I loved I don't want to work too many spoilers. I love the twist at the end, right? With the testing, the different kinds of testing. Because I actually worked for Johnson & Johnson that made both of those kinds of tests. And I laughed because the FDA was very clear about how we labeled each one, so you would not mistakenly buy one versus the other.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so that was really, really
Yeah,
fun.
I know. I don't want to give that. I wanted to ask that question. I wanted to ask about that too, but it's like, that's kind of hard to.
I don't want to give any spoilers.
yeah, that's a fun twist.
But using the newspaper, I thought, to deliver his messages with the letters, I thought that was really just the idea of the letters and the letters that Jillian wrote to her son, and that was really beautiful.
Thank you.
So we're chatting about a couple of the little twists and turns that have happened in the book. But did anything in the book surprise you? Did you know when she showed up to that appointment that was going to happen, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was all set up ahead of time. So did anything surprise me? I feel so I didn't have the ending figured out in the beginning. I didn't know that surprise thing at the end. I didn't know that was happening until and the letter, I didn't know that was happening either until about 3/4 of the way through. So that was kind of a surprise that I figured out and went, oh, wouldn't that be cool? That was a good surprise. It's a bad surprise when your editor says, goats can climb, and it messes up your whole first. It's a good surprise.
I love the whole Amos and Trudy storyline where you had that, him telling his story about his wife who had passed, but lots of happy memories. So did you enjoy writing that? I
had so much fun with Amos, and so many of my books have cute little ladies in them, but I was really, really close to both of my grandpas, and Todd was really close to both of his grandpas too. We had, I think I've told this before, that for the first 10 years of our marriage, we had all 8 of our grandparents alive.
Wow.
So our kids knew their great grandparents, and both Todd and I had very good relationships with all of our grandparents, very much a part of our lives. His grandparents lived right up the street from us. So I really wanted this book. I wanted to have a little old man in it, like I think older people have so much wisdom to share and so many great stories to share. And I just love the idea that this old cow, she'd be doing the mobile book cart, and this old cowboy would be sitting there in his flannel pajamas with this cowboy hat on and his boots and, still in his PJs, but he's got his hat on, and that she could learn from this older cowboy.
And he had a good story. He had a good romance story himself, a little romance in the romance, I love that story.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
Jenny, was there anything that Deb made you take out?
Deb's her editor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Deb's my editor. I don't think so with this one. No, this one actually is probably my least edited book of all.
Wow.
Like, I'm telling you, there's something special about this book, I feel like. And maybe it's all in my head, but I hope you guys felt that too. There was just something special about this one. The way it came together, and it was very, very light on the edits this time. So it was probably my least edited book.
Wow. So what are you working on now?
So I finished the Cozy Mystery. So that's also something I have not. I'm waiting for Publishers Weekly to get this posted, that I signed a couple of Cozy Mysteries with Crooked Lane Books. And so I turned in my first Cozy Mystery. It's called Take the Honey and Run. Actually, I think I showed the cover of that last time. Did I show the cover of that last time?
No.
I don't remember seeing it.
It's not even available for print, but maybe I could show the cover. Do you guys want to see the cover?
Yes.
You have it.
This is just
I love the title. Did you come up with the title?
I did. So it's called Take the Honey and Run, and it is a beekeeping mystery. So it's got a cowboy, but it's got a grandma that raises bees, and the second book in the series is Can't Help Pollen in Love.
Oh God, that is so good.
So the heroine, her name is Bailey Briggs, and she's got a 12-year-old daughter. She's a single mom, and she comes home to Humble Hills, Colorado, and she lives at Honey Buzz Mountain Ranch. It's full of the cutest bee puns, and her grandma's the prime suspect, so she's in a sticky situation, so she has to, get her grandma before she ends up behind bars. Like, it's so much fun bee stuff that it's just ridiculous. I love it. So, okay, I'm looking for my album with my book covers, and I'll show you this.
When is this one coming out?
This one comes out next summer. So it should be available, I think they said 6 to 9 months, and it comes out next July. So very, very close. We're getting close to this. And this has a golden retriever named Cooper in it, and so it's just like my dog.
Aww.
Oh, that's cute.
That is really cute.
And I feel like there's a lot of glare in it.
Oh, that is really cute.
No,
That is so cute. Are you happy with the covers?
Oh,
they're so
yes,
cute.
it was totally my idea. Like, I gave this idea that wouldn't it be fun to have the golden retriever playing with a bee? And I told them I would love to have the ranch on it. And anyway, they drew a picture of what I asked for in my imagination. And then they sent it to me, and I said, "Oh, I love it so much, but the farmhouse doesn't really look like, I was imagining this 2-story big rambling farmhouse." And so I sent them a picture of what I imagined, and they basically just drew that on the cover. Like, they changed the cover they changed the farmhouse. And so it's been just a ball, really fun, and really fun to do something different. So I finished that one, and then now I'm back writing a Christmas cowboy story. So,
and any more Hallmark books yet, or are we still waiting here?
Still waiting here on Hallmark. So, yeah,
busy woman.
I know, a lot.
I
That's why
feel
I juggle it all.
I feel like I need an Aunt Sassy love story novella.
Oh, that was an Amos, Aunt Sassy and Amos.
Or Aunt Sassy and the doc, the doc that she's always talking about.
Yeah, so a Doc Hunter is kind of
Doc Hunter.
Aunt Sassy's, kind of convenient friend.
Oh, okay. I think that would be great. That would be really cute, like a novella of that.
I don't know. So my Page Turner series has an Aunt Sassy, Edna, in it, and for Edna's book, I really wanted to give her a romance and a mystery, but her book is called Just Another Maniac Monday, but I didn't know how it would go over to have a romance with an 80-year-old, and so I actually flashed back in time. So Just Another Maniac Monday is about Edna, who opens up the door on an ordinary Monday morning and finds the love of her life standing there, a man she thought died 60 years ago after he'd been accused of murder. And so it goes back and forth between why he showed up now, how he's alive, the mystery around him now, and then it goes back in time to 1955 in the summer back in Kansas and how they fell in love. So I do have her romance and her kind of fun, but it's back when she's young. Is
it hard writing going back? I know you love mysteries, but is it hard going back to mysteries after having written romance for so many books?
Yes. It is, because you just don't think about all the, you have to put in all the red herrings and you have to put in the clues. You guys know, and you have to put in extra suspects that and it's one point of view, right? It's one point of view instead of two. Yeah, it's one point of view. So there's no dual narration. And cozy mysteries like all of the suspects to be on the page in the first third of the book. So they don't, it stinks to have this, secret surprise killer that shows up, in the last chapter, so getting all the suspects on the page, finding little fun threads to put in there that are fake, the red herrings. Yeah, it was more work for sure. Are they first person or third person?
I was just going to ask that.
Third.
Okay.
Third.
Yeah. Have you guys done that where you've switched from where you've written a first person book?
My women's fiction is first person.
I'm working on one right now.
And it's
a first person?
It's going back and forth, like having the romances in third and then doing the women's fiction in first.
I would think it would be hard.
It's hard. And I find I mix it up in both and I'm editing and like, what?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it. I enjoy it.
I like it too. It's a different form of storytelling when you're in first person. It's just, you only see
more immediate. You feel more connection,
I have to re-blurb my 3 books because I'm republishing them. They're going to come out and I have to rewrite the blurb. And I wrote them in first person.
Oh, neat.
Oh. And just because I felt like I when I write it in third, I get real plot oriented, but in first person, it's really character driven, so I wrote them in first person, then converted them to third, and I feel like they're probably the best blurbs I've ever written just because I did it that way. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, because it just felt like somebody was saying immediate. It felt very immediate and very real to who they were, like they were being able to speak on the page instead of somebody summarizing the plot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I think that's been really, it was different in the cozy to just have the one point of view, because I'm used to having the man and you can tell, what the guy is thinking and he can go different places. And now to have the mystery, and she has to be at every single place. She has to explain everything. She has to,
Yeah, the reader only knows what she knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's tough. But I'm excited. I can't wait to read them.
I know. What was the Maniac Monday? What was that? The one you were talking? Because I need to read.
Monday?
That's from the Page Turner series.
Yeah, that's from the Page Turner series.
I need to read that one too. That has sold me. Just you talking about it.
So you came up with that title because it's a Page
I did.
Turner.
Yeah. The Page Turners. I did all those titles myself.
And that's an adorable title. Do you have fun with that? Do you find it easy or?
So it was really fun to start out with these song titles. So the first one is Another Saturday Night, and I Ain't Got Nobody, like the song. And the second one is what is it? Easy Like Sunday Morning. Like morning, MOURNING. And then Just Another Maniac Monday. And then Tangled Up in Tuesday is an actual song. But then, you know how many songs are written about Wednesday? Like, and you know how many songs are written about Thursday? Like 3. So Friday is going to be, there's a bunch of songs about Friday. There's a bunch of songs about Saturday, but they're Wednesday and Thursday were hard. So what Wednesday, I just did What to Do About Wednesday. And then Thursday is the book that I'm working on right now. And there's like no Thursday song.
Well, we're going to have to ask people to give us suggestions in the group.
Yeah.
Have them contribute.
Exactly.
So how do you, when you wake up in the morning, how do you decide which book to work on? Is it just what's due date is closest?
Yes.
And do you do that until the end? Like, do you work on just one book at a time, or?
Usually.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I work on a different book is when I'm writing a proposal, because sometimes you're working on a book, but you need to write a proposal and write some sample chapters or something. So, and I'm writing some sample chapters right now for a new series idea. So, and also writing the Christmas book. So,
when is
I
that?
am working on the Christmas book. If anyone from Sourcebooks is watching this, I am working on it. I promise.
When does that one have to be turned in?
October.
Oh, okay. I'll give her plenty of time.
Plenty of time, right?
Okay.
Well, for Jennie, that's plenty of time.
Yeah.
So I marvel at how much you write and how many books you have to your name. Do you ever get stuck? Do you ever get to a point where you're like, I'm blocked. I can't write.
I don't let myself use the word blocked.
Okay.
But I do get stuck on scenes sometimes. And that's why I have wonderful, amazing author friends that I just call up my author friend and say, hey, I need a festival. I need a way to have somebody do this. I don't know. And then we just kind of talk through and brainstorm ideas, or I ask my husband, and he's sometimes helpful, sometimes just sarcastic and not helpful at all.
As they are most of the time.
Yeah.
Or in my case, asked to be paid first.
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll just write the next scene and assume that, it'll come back to me. The last book that I turned in, I was behind and I was struggling. There was just too many things going on. It was with the renovation and everything. And I literally had 2 empty sex scenes. And I had the words, I will write a sex scene in the next edit.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so the edits came back and said, please finish this scene. So I was like, something sexy will happen here. But I didn't have it in me at the time to write it.
So how long have you been writing?
Since I turned 40 is when I made the decision to do this. So my kids were getting ready to go. I mean, I've been a writer my whole life. You know how we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Journal and always be making up stories in our head, even if it's a story of how you're going to get killed if you go walk down that empty stairway or across the parking lot. But when I turned 40 is when I made the decision, like, my kids are getting ready to go to college. Who am I now? That midlife crisis, blah, blah, blah. What have I always wanted to do with my life? What am I not doing with my life? And I always wanted to write a book. And my first book was published in 2012.
Oh, wow, Jennie.
For 10 years.
And how many do you have out?
Well, I've written 31, and I think Never Enough Cowboy was 29.
Wow.
Or 30. 29. I don't know.
I don't know if I have 29 story ideas. Do you ever run out of story ideas?
You do.
With 7 children, I'm sure you have plenty.
Yes.
I might have
Yes.
to like steal from Scooby Doo or something. Do you ever
Well-
run out of story ideas?
Who, me?
No.
No,
Oh,
Jenny.
Do I ever run out? No. I have a million story ideas. I just don't have time to write them all.
I know. And it's like, it's funny because I'll be working on one book, but then I have an idea for another one. And that's the one that I'm excited about because I'm not writing it because I'm just thinking about it. And then it's like, I have to finish the one I'm writing.
Yeah.
It always seems easier, right? The new idea always seems easier. Like,
Right? Doesn't it?
New idea.
Because
Slutty
it
new
is,
idea.
it's not worked out yet. You know, the new idea is so shiny, but it's also so thin. And then
Yeah.
when you start, writing it down, you're like, well, what about this? What about that? And that's when it gets complicated.
And then let me go back to the old one. I know that one better.
Right.
Yeah. And I have a lot of thin ideas that my agent is like, but I need more and more. So yeah, I haven't run out yet.
All right. Well, that's good. So is this book coming out, the Christmas book, is it coming out this Christmas or
No, next Christmas.
next Christmas?
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's exciting. And so the next book that's coming out is in October or November?
I
February.
don't have another book the rest of this year.
No, for the rest of the year. See, I'm so used to you. I'm so
I know,
used to
I'm
you
used
just
to, like,
throwing
every
books
3
at me.
months. Jenny book.
So I had two
Coming out
books
tomorrow? I don't know.
Yeah. I had 2 books come out this year, and they came out in June and July. So they just came out both in the summer.
Yeah.
But next year I'll have a March, July, and October.
Hmm.
So next year I'll have 3, and they're all written. Oh no, one of them's not written. 2 of them are already written.
And the
So-
October is the Christmas one, or?
Yeah, next October.
All right.
So unless I pull some kind of indie thing out of my hat before
You
this
might.
year is over, but I don't know if that'll happen.
You might. All right. Well,
You never know.
get to it. Well, this was so much fun talking to you tonight and talking to you about your book and getting to chat. We always have such a good time together.
Oh,
We
I
do.
know. Yeah.
So I know that we usually make an announcement about, if you ask a question or comment. So now we're making it at the end. So if anybody has a question or a comment, you can be entered for a gift card, and that will run until Sunday.
And thank you for all your comments about the cover, everyone who checked it out.
Yeah, I love some of the comments. And somebody was saying that they have a 2-year planner that they kind of sync up with one in their purse. So I think that was Lori.
Oh, their planner, yeah. I liked that.
Yeah. All right, so I'm trying to get ready our next cover for our next book. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. All right, guys. So next time, look at my tiara. This is ridiculous. There we go. All right. Our next book is American Royalty by Tracy Lipset. Yay! We're so excited about this. You guys, we're so
That looks
excited.
so good.
I know.
Oh,
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. So we'll talk to you guys. We'll see you guys at the end of next month. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.